What is the worst mistake of your life? Before we start with the first story, please hit a subscribe and ring the notification bell to stay updated with us. Story 1. Getting married. Or marrying the wrong person would be more accurate, I guess. We got married in 2001 and just divorced in April. But I left her for the last time in 2015 after getting solid proof that she had been cheating. She now has 4 kids by 4 different guys. 3 of them born while we were together and just 1 is mine. Tip of this depressing iceberg, unfortunately. Story 2. Not putting money away for savings early enough. Start early. Make it automatic. Edit. Investor.gov has a lot of great tools, but the point is to get used to setting aside savings automatically passively like automatic paycheck withdrawals into a retirement account. Also, if your employer has any sort of retirement plan matching, match it 100%. It's free money. Compound interest over time can be an incredible snowball effect, giving you hundreds of thousands of dollars in free money, but it needs time. Going from 20 years to 40 years, you don't just get 2x extra free money, you get over 10x more. Story 3. Not paying off my mortgage 17 years ago when I had the money. Instead, I used it to renovate my house to add 2 bedrooms and a den. At the time, I thought it was more important for each of my 4 kids to have their own room. They were sharing 2 each before then, and a bigger family room. I'm kicking myself because had I used the money to pay off the mortgage instead, I'd have had an extra $3,000 a month in my pocket. I could have saved up that money and extended my house a few years later. Story 4. Being mean to my wife and son when I was younger. We got married at 18 and I was just immature and was always taking my job home and just getting upset over really nothing. We're still married after 32 years, and over past several years, I have came to realize how lucky I have them in my life and will do anything for them. Story 5. Not knowing that my wife and I are both carriers for a rare terminal genetic disease called krabit disease. Both of my daughters are fine, but my son has the disease and started developing symptoms at 18 months old. Now our entire lives are completely flipped upside down. We want to spread awareness that we didn't have. His page is called Prayers for Arthur, Hope for a Cure. He's such a sweet boy. We just want to keep him as comfortable as possible. Thank you for all of the nice and encouraging comments. Story 6. Letting a shitty, controlling girlfriend convince me to quit my band. I don't think we would have made it big or anything, but they were my best friends and she treated me like garbage. I was trapped in emotional abuse and manipulation from age 18 to 20. The ultimatum between her and the band could have saved me all that misery if I had just made a wiser choice. Story 7. My mom died. I got over $80K in life insurance money. After paying for her funeral and paying off debt, I bought a new car and looked at some houses but never got offers accepted. I wasted the rest of the money mostly on weed and alcohol just trying to feel better. Now I'm broke, but I'm 28 days clean and trying to pull myself out of my funk and live better. I am 2 months into a new job and plan on seeking help when I get health insurance again. I'm also considering finding a new job with higher pay. Story 8. Killing myself. I had attempted multiple times and landed in the ICU several of those times. I succeeded once. I was revived. After I was revived, I got into a treatment program that actually worked. I'd been in and out of mental treatment for January 15, 2024. I entered recovery 10 years and 2 days ago. My life is amazing now. I was pissed as hell when I was unalived, but it would have been such a huge mistake. I love being alive. I am thriving. I am happy. I still have severe depression, but I am now equipped with the tools and skills to conquer it. I have depression, but I do not suffer from it. Life is worth living, folks. It does get better if you let it. Story 9. Going to college when I didn't know what I wanted to do. Went because it was what we were supposed to do. I went to a magnet high school, so we were never educated about professional certificates or given the tools to start our own business. We were just shuffled into college because we were a gifted school. I even distinctly remember one of our teachers pointing to some of the construction workers out the window and telling us that's what happens when you don't go to college. Now I have my degree. way too much fucking debt. And I'm not even working in the field I got my degree in. Thanks brainwashing. Story 10. Not applying myself in high school courses. I had a number of college-level dual credit courses which I intentionally slacked in, resulting in poor grades. Now I am in my 4th year of university and am still working my grades back up, as well as wishing I'd paid more attention. I could have graduated by now had I not made that blunder. Story 11. Introduced my girlfriend of 3 years to a new friend that I met at college. Within a few weeks, she was cheating on me with him. I'm sure we would have broken up eventually, but it just hurts even more knowing that I introduced her to the guy she would cheat on me with. Story 12. Selling my '99 Ford Explorer Sport. I know that sounds mild, but a lot of the bad things that happened to me were either not a mistake of my own, or were important moments in my life for learning purposes. I don't regret being in a terrible relationship for a number of years. I learned so much from that, and it put me in a place to meet someone wonderful years later. I really miss that truck. Story 13. Marrying my abuser. At the time, I didn't really believe a man could ever be the victim of abuse, so I didn't see the signs as they were happening to me. We're divorced now. She took all my savings. I was homeless for over a year. I have facial scars and permanent mobility problems as a direct result of her physical abuse. And there's a high chance my sterility was caused by her abuse as well. My relationships with certain members of my family have never fully recovered, all because I was manipulated into thinking I deserved to be treated like that. Stupid mistake. I'm shocked I'm not dead. Story 14. Failing to repay my now late mother-in-law the money she fronted us the money to buy new tires when we had so little. We eventually were very comfortable in our lives. I was so embarrassed. My then husband presumed I had paid her back. I had not. He found out years later that I had failed to repay the debt. He was so angry and had every right to be. He wrote his mother a check, though she didn't want it. She was wrong. She was owed and shouldn't have pretended it didn't matter. I never apologized to her, though I did to my husband. There was no excuse. I kept thinking at some point I would humbly admit to her my error in judgment. It bothered me, but I didn't. She died in an auto accident a few years later. I have forgiven myself for being that person. I know my ex never got over it despite my apologizing to him. He couldn't. My mother-in-law was a stellar human. I don't know why I kept putting off what should have been given. It makes no sense. There have been many times I apologized to the ether knowing she is gone. She died knowing what a terrible person I could be. She never mentioned it to me. She never treated me in any way other than with love and kindness. I let myself down. I let everyone down. I have made plenty of mistakes in my life. I made efforts to make amends when I did. I asked for forgiveness and admitted my failures many times over my long life. But for whatever reason, I failed her, yet I adored her. Story 15. Not saying 3 words when they would have made all the difference. Edit. Posted below in spot to another comment asking for more info. I grew up with a girl. She was my best friend throughout all of school, and the only one to stand up for me against bullies. We were close and I eventually developed some very strong feelings for her. But having zero self-confidence, I kept my mouth shut, thinking that I'd been friend-zoned. As we moved through school, we were split up and put into different classes. We tried to keep up, but eventually drifted apart. This was pre-social media and mobile phones, and eventually our lives took different paths. We bumped into each other now and then, but she was always involved with someone at the time, so we kept things pleasant and went our ways. We both got on with our lives, moved on and soon settled down, starting families of our own. Fast forwards a decade or two, and we end up applying for the same job, so now we work closely together. It was like 25 years hadn't happened, and we went straight back to being best friends. She confessed to having unresolved feelings for me too, and that she never made a move because she also thought she'd been friend-zoned. Had either of us said something, the course of our lives could have been very different. For now, we've talked it through and agreed on boundaries, lines that can never be crossed. Still fucking hurts though. Alright folks, that's a wrap. If you like more of this, please hit a like button and subscribe to the channel. You can also share your thoughts in the comment below. I'll see you in the next video.